Hello, welcome to our virtual yoga class. My name is Vanessa, and I'm here to support you for the rest of your practice. So we'll take a moment here to settle into our body. Noticing, checking in. Let's transition to lay on the floor to help ground us for the rest of the class. So I recommend stretching your legs out. And then you can either take your hands to your heart center or belly, or you can drop your hands to frame your hips. Now, I do recommend laying your hands on your chest and belly to help you begin the process of tuning into your body more deeply. By resting your hands on your belly, chest, you start to notice that rise and fall with your breath. You'll notice a different aspect of the physical experience of your breath. So I do recommend that, especially if your mind's a little chattery, it's a little bit more difficult for you to integrate into your practice or step into your practice. I recommend that. But you do have the option of laying your hands on both sides of your hips as we usually conclude class. No judgment of the breath, just notice that rise and fall. When you're ready, I recommend inhaling here and then exhaling, sighing out. To release that tension from 2020, inhale, exhale, sigh out. Notice that this part of our yoga class is an opportunity to tune in to create a good foundation for yourself for the rest of class. We're cultivating that ability to notice those subtleties and nuances in the body. And one of those areas is our breath. Start to take more intentional breath cycles, either by exhaling, sighing out, or just by lengthening your inhale and exhale. We'll notice we slow our relationship with time as we slow down our breath and we drop into our bodies. I'm going to body scan here. Notice where your head touches the mat, where your back touches the mat, where the backs of your legs and your heels touch the mat. Notice that point. Notice we'll be focusing on strength, flexibility, and balance. And our breath supports us in that exploration. We're also building those bridges of the physical, mental, emotional bodies, supporting our emotional, mental, and physical well-being simultaneously. And this is part of a purposeful, holistic yoga class. So with that in mind, and with training your ability to notice those subtleties and nuances in the body, noticing how your body communicates to you, let's invite a full body stretch. Very low pressure sort of movement here. It's not an official pose, but it's important here to stretch and open up the bodies and then start to train ourselves to notice, to check in, to see how the body communicates. It's significant if your attention is mostly around your neck and shoulders, or it's significant if your attention is mostly around your lower back. Notice where your attention falls. Take an opportunity here to open up gently throughout the arms, lift your abdomen, release any compression in the lower back. You can point your toes, you can even rotate your ankles here. A few breath cycles here, intentionally dropping into your body, noticing how your body communicates to you, cultivating that ability to notice those subtleties and nuances, not just in breath, but in body. Inhale, ribcage expands. You can exhale, sigh out, perhaps another breath here or two. And then start to release that full body stretch. And then let's transition, bending our right knee. Let's grab our knee with our hands, round our spine, forehead towards our knee, chin towards chest, drop our head back. 2 more times, letting that core do a lot of the lift, support you in that lift. And then after 3 rounds or so, you can always take an extra 1 or 2. Lift your right leg, interlace your fingers behind your thigh. Try to lengthen your leg. You can always invite a tiny bend to your knee. Let's see if you can lengthen your leg as much as you can. Notice where your boundary is, breathe into it. And then drop your leg a little bit towards the left. That's going to open up a little bit more around the glute and hip. Even release a little bit in the lower back. And then bring your leg back to center. Breathe here. Inhale, exhale. Bend that right knee. Cup that knee with your hands. Round your spine. Forehead towards your knee. Chin towards chest. Hold. And then drop your head back. Now, bend your left knee. Grab your knee with your hands. 3 rounds. Round your spine. Forehead towards your knee. Drop your head back. And then after those 3 rounds, lift your leg up towards the ceiling, interlace your fingers behind your thigh, lengthen your leg, breathe into your hamstring. You can always intensify that stretch by bringing your thigh closer towards your belly and chest. That means applying some gentle pressure with your hands. Inhale. Exhale, start to drop your foot towards the right. Breathe, inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Bring your leg back to center. Take a breath here. And then bend that left knee. Grab your knee with your hands. Forehead towards your knee. Chin towards chest, or chin towards chest. Drop your head back. Both knees bent. Feet float off the floor. Massage to the left and to the right. And then release. Lengthen both legs out in front. Lengthen your spines. Flex your feet and fold, leading through your chest and your heart. Breathe into your boundary. Hands can reach toes, shins, or thighs. Inhale. Exhale. And then release. Bend your right knee. Take your left arm out. Twist towards the right. Elbow hooks on your knee. So this looks relatively simple. And it is, but you actually are required to pay attention to a lot here. So first, flex that left foot towards the front. Take your chin towards that right shoulder. Notice any collapse, any place in the spine you might collapse. You want to lengthen your spine. You're lifting your chest, engaging, activating your core. Fingertips on the mat or palm. Could be the top part of the palm. Hold, and then release. Same thing here. Flex your right foot, bend your left knee. You're hooking your right elbow onto your knee. You're purposely lengthening the spine, opening the chest, taking your chin towards that left shoulder. And then release. We'll transition into our tabletop. Let's take our hands right beneath our shoulders, knees, hips width distance apart. And this is a standard pose that we use to transition. You want to make sure that the standard pose is in alignment. So once again, hands beneath your shoulders, knees about hips width distance apart. We're going to take one cow pose and hold. Hold your cow pose. It's all right to hold it into an exhale. I'm pressing through my palms, my arms are lengthened. Shoulders roll back, chest is open. Notice that opening in the spine. I want to release any compression in the lower back. I'm lifting my tailbone very purposely up towards the ceiling. Take an invigorating breath here. And now we'll shift into a cat pose. Hold your cat pose. Spread your fingertips. Purposely shift your chin towards your chest. Separate your shoulder blades. Round the spine. Tuck in your tailbone. And release. Press your right hand onto the mat. Lift your left arm up towards the ceiling. And release. Opposite side. Now lift your right hand arm up towards the ceiling. Release your hand, inhale up cow pose. Remaining here to an exhale. Hold that cow pose, lift your tailbone. Round your spine, chin towards chest, hold. Inhale. Exhale. Release. Neutral tabletop, lift your right leg. Your leg is parallel to the floor. Now bend your knee. The more you bend your knee, the more you open up there around the quad. Now stack your hips towards the right. We're opening your quad, hip, and glute. Hold. And strengthening as well. Take a stabilizing breath. Now round your spine. Now chin and knee towards chest. You hover here. And release. Opposite side. Lift your left leg, bend your knees, stack your hips. Stabilizing breath. Chin and knee towards your chest. You're rounding your spine like your cat pose. I'm pressing through my palms here for stability. Release your knee onto the floor. Hold your cow pose. Pressing through your palms, lifting your tailbone. Exhale, round your spine. Chin towards chest. Release and then step back into a child's pose, either knees close together or knees towards the edges of your mat. Let's take 3 intentional breaths where you're purposely lengthening the length of your inhale and exhale. And then after those 3 breath cycles, you'll start to inch that right hand towards the left corner of your mat. A little side body stretch here, a little focus there around that armpit shoulder area. And then release. Opposite side, left hand towards that right corner. And release. Start to shift into a tabletop. From tabletop, downward facing dog. You're in that upside down V. You can shake your head a little bit here. You can pedal your feet back and forth, deepening that opening around the hamstrings and glutes. You can remain static and stable. Breathe from your fingertips to your heels. Imagine a breath where you're breathing through the pores of your skin. Hold this downward facing dog. Fingertips are spread, chest moves towards your thighs, hips are lifted up towards the ceiling. Your heels can be lifted as well. Take your hands, take your gaze right between your hands. So walk or jump up to that forward fold. Now here, take either your left hand onto the mat, or you can rest your forearm onto your thigh. We're gonna lift our right arm up towards the ceiling. So I'm twisting here, and there's a generous bend to my left knee to support this twist and to also support that opening around the hamstrings. Now I can apply some gentle pressure on that right heel, lengthening that right leg, intensifying a stretch here in the hamstrings, glutes, hips. Don't forget to breathe here. And then release. Right hand on the mat or forearm on the shin, a generous bend to that right knee, twist, lifting your arm up. Left arm reaches up towards the ceiling. Lengthen your left leg, do not forget to breathe. Release your hand, we're going to slowly roll up to standing. Torso is relaxed. Practice slowing down with your body. And then you can adjust your hands. Hands can frame your hips, palms facing out in front, or hands in front of your chest. We take a breath for the day we've had so far. We take a breath for this moment. And we take a breath for the rest of our day. Throughout the class, we're practicing arriving to this present moment, checking in. Always practicing that and cultivating that. All right, we'll release our hands if your hands were lifted. Let's lift our arms up overhead, interlace your fingers, palms up towards the ceiling, and hold. Inhale here, exhale. Keep your gaze steady, keep your breath steady as well. You can challenge yourself here to different levels, either heels close to the floor or lifting your heels as much as you can. If you're lifting your heels as much as you can, you're activating a little bit more of that glute strength and quad strength to help stabilize you. Even breath, notice if you're storing any tension around the shoulders. Relax your shoulders. Fingers can loosely be interlaced. Or you can also lengthen your elbows as much as you can, spreading those palms and fingers. Release. Let's bring our arms out to a T, keeping our hips squared towards the front as much as we can. We're going to lead through our chest, take our gaze over our right fingertips. Keep your gaze steady, and steady gaze is a steady mind. Back to center. Take your gaze over your left hand. Hips square towards the front. Steady gaze, steady mind. Bring your arms back to that T, drop your hands. Interlace your fingers behind you. Now I'm purposely bringing my shoulder blades closer together and lengthening my elbows. Now think that throughout our day, we have a tendency to curve forward. We round our shoulders, hunch them, and also are maybe more slouched. So take this opportunity to open, lengthen the spine, draw shoulders down and back. Give your body what I call that medicine. Give your body that medicine. Give your body that balance. Gently lift your gaze and chin up towards the ceiling. When we practice lifting our gaze, we also practice cultivating that inner sense of optimism. And then we'll bend our knees, keep your elbows extended. And I really suggest you, as you're folding down, be mindful of the neck and shoulders, listening to your body to soften your head to prevent any injury there around the upper back, neck. Don't strain your neck and upper back. And then release your hands to your shins. Let's create a rhythm, 3 rounds in a row. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, release, softening, letting go your head and neck. Second round. Exhale, release, and third round. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, release. You can either roll up slowly or sweep your arms up overhead. Make this a practice of presence. You're arriving to the mat. You're letting go of your to-do lists. You're arriving to your body, however easy or hard it might be at this moment, at this time of day. Inhale. Exhale. Sigh it out. Release your hands. We're going to take our left foot forward, right leg steps back. Our left foot is in a 90-degree angle. Our hips are naturally opened here. I'm sorry, I might have said warrior one. We're shifting into a warrior two. So our hips are open, right foot's in a diagonal. We bring our arms out to a T. So my left forearm is parallel to my left thigh. Once again, we practice that steady gaze, steady mind. Keep your gaze focused and steady. Shoulders are drawn down. And this is a pose of strength, stability, groundedness. It's a warrior pose. Breathe through the pores of your skin. Imagine that. Imagine a line of energy from one fingertip to the other. Now release that right hand, lift your left arm up. Side body stretch, you're also opening throughout the lower back. Keep a bend to that left knee, and then back to center, warrior two. Inhale here, exhale, drop your elbow onto your thigh, lift your right arm up towards the ceiling. Now very purposely extending my right arm up towards the ceiling. Inhale, exhale, spin down. Both hands frame that left foot. Lengthen that left knee. Soften your neck, your head. Breathe into your hip, hamstring, behind your knees, down to your calves. Inhale. And exhale, pivot that right foot, and then step back, downward facing dog. Remain in your down dog. If you want to take a vinyasa, take a vinyasa. That's plank pose, upward facing dog, back to down dog. So we all meet at our down dog. Now take your gaze between your hands, walk or jump up to that forward fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, release. Your choice how you come up to standing. Make it your practice. You can sweep your arms up overhead, or you can roll up slowly. Right hand presses against left hand. Left hand presses against right hand. Let's inhale here, exhale, side out. Grounding with our breath. We notice as we embrace our breath, we embrace our experience. Inhale, exhale. Release your hands, warrior two. We take our right foot forward, left leg steps back. Our hips are open. 90-degree bend to that knee, arms to that T. Keep your gaze steady, looking over your right fingertips. Shoulders are drawn down, chest is open, core is strong, glutes are active. You can imagine your legs are these scissors attempting to close, but they can't. Hold the pose, but don't hold your breath. And then release that left hand right behind your thigh. Lift your right arm up and hold. Back to center, warrior two. One breath, inhale. Exhale, release your elbow right onto your thigh. Keep a bend to that right knee. Lift your left arm, very purposely lengthening and lifting my arm up. I'm sinking into my right hip. Take a grounding breath. And then spin down, being mindful of neck and head. Lengthen that right knee. Focus on that right hamstring, right hip. Behind the knees, down to the calves. Inhale. Exhale, pivot that left foot, step back, downward facing dog. Take your vinyasa. If you prefer vinyasa, plank pose, upward facing dog. Or if you prefer that stability, focus on your downward facing dog. Inhale. And exhale. From downward facing dog, release your knees onto the floor. Inhale up, cow pose and cat pose.
And after you've taken those 2 rounds, we'll shift into our cross-legged position.
Once again, a reminder as we come into that cross-legged position, that tendency for our bodies to shift forward, both in shoulders and chin and rounding of the spine and collapsing that core strength. So we're activating that core strength. It's very subtle. We slide our shoulders down. We seem to think that core strength has to be about these really intense ab workouts, which is an aspect of that. And just lengthening our spine just means a gentle activation. It's a gentle awareness and integrity with the body. We take a grounding breath, inhale, and exhale. Drop your chin towards your chest and just hold here. Shift that attention to the neck, upper back, maybe between your shoulder blades, mid-back. And then chin back to neutral. Take your chin over that right shoulder. And then over that left shoulder. And do so purposely, not passively. Notice what's opening there for the side of your neck. Back to center, lift your chin up towards the ceiling. And then start to rotate your head from one shoulder to the next, either full circle or just half a circle. Few rounds here. If you prefer to work on some meditation, go ahead and do so. Otherwise, a few more breaths, about 5 more breaths, rotating your head. After another breath or two, head comes back to a neutral position, eyes open or closed. If eyes are open, focus on one point. Steady gaze, steady mind, or close your eyes. Inhale here, exhale, sigh it out. And then gently open your eyes if they're closed. We'll start to transition to lay on to the floor. And we'll lengthen our legs. Palms are going to face up towards the ceiling. Chin towards your chest. Slowly release them. Activate your core. Find a point to hover here where your feet float off the floor. Glutes and quads are activated here. I'm shifting my chin towards my chest to protect my neck. And then drop your heels, drop your head. Inhale, exhale, we'll bend our knees, float our feet off the floor, and then drop your knees towards the right. Bring your arms out to a T, drop your head towards the left. Very purposely soften your body here. Around the neck, hips, you can imagine your knees falling further towards the mat. This is a pose of softening and letting go. Supports the health, supports health, it supports the spine, mid back, lower back, upper back. Neck, down to the hips. To get a full benefit of this pose, you want to make sure that your head and your knees are facing opposite directions. And then knees come back to center. You're going to drop your knees towards the left. Drop your head towards the right. Once again, purposely scanning your body. Upper back, mid back, lower back, down to the hips. Softening further. Notice that we have to practice relaxing and softening our bodies. Inhale. And exhale, we'll start to release your twist. And then we'll transition into our final resting pose of the class. We lengthen our legs out, palms frame our hips facing the ceiling. There is no expectation here. There's no performance. There's only the suggestion of softening your body, relaxing further into this pose. Notice your forehead, jaw, and neck. These are areas we unconsciously, subconsciously tense up. Soften neck and shoulders, down the length of your arms to your wrists and fingertips. Release the upper back, mid back, lower back, down to the hips, behind the knees, the ankles and toes. Notice sensations and thoughts without judgment, just notice. We'll start to shift our attention to our breath. Inviting a generous and leisurely inhale and exhale. You can restore some movement to your fingertips and toes. You can invite a full body stretch, lifting your arms up overhead, or you can turn your body to the left or to the right. Then after another breath or two, start to make your way up to your seat. Find a seat that's comfortable for you. Bring integrity into your body. Whatever that looks like for you, make those subtle adjustments. And we'll take a moment to contemplate that when we honor our breath, we honor our experience physically, mentally, and emotionally. And with that in mind, we'll take our hands in front of our heart center and an intentional breath. Let's inhale here and exhale. And in the tradition of yoga, the highest in me sees the highest in you. May we walk with each other in gratitude.